All right, welcome to my LevelHike Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Nomad, Sega Master System HDMI cable. This is an awesome product as all the other LevelHike products I've personally used, which is the PS2, Sega Saturn, and the 3-in-1 Nintendo one, which is Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, and then of course now the Sega Genesis one. So I did a review of the PS2 one, and then I did a review of the 3-in-1 using N64 gameplay. So I do want to say that this retails for $29.99 on Amazon, and it is Prime eligible. Also, I am not being sponsored in this video. My views are my own. But I was sent the cable for review because I've already covered products of theirs, and they wanted me to, review this one and review the 3-in-1, which I already did the review of the 3-in-1. The PS2 one I completely bought myself. That was the first ever one I got, and I was extremely impressed. And I'm impressed with all of them, to be completely honest with you. The Sega Saturn one was also amazing. But yeah, this video is not being sponsored. My views are my own. I'm here to tell you exactly what it does, exactly what it looks like, and also talk about things that aren't just for capture. A lot of people who do these reviews just solely talk about what it looks like when you're capturing footage, from your Elgato or whatever, your AverMedia capture card, whatever that the case may be, or if you're trying to stream it. I like to talk about both casual, like if you're just buying this to play games yourself, or if you are getting it to the sole purpose of recording. Maybe you're going to speed run, or you're just going to record gameplay videos, whatever the case may be. So, what do you get with the LevelHike HDMI? You get them all in these cool boxes, which are very, they're obviously like, simple boxes, but they're durable enough. Of course, you get the cable, which is this. They typically all look the same, except for the end, obviously, that the console goes in. So this is the end that would go into the Sega Genesis Model 2 and 3. Also, I should mention real quick, this supports the Sega Genesis Model 1, 2, 3, the Sega Nomad, which is the essentially portable Sega Genesis, the Sega CD, and the original Sega Master System. So this supports quite a lot in one cable, which is really cool because I know there's a lot of Sega fanatics out there. I'm a big Sega head myself. I love the Genesis in particular and the Sega CD. Definitely the Sega Saturn. So, yeah, you get this cable, and you do have to make sure that it has room to breathe, as this can get a little hot. But I don't think this one has really gotten hot for me. The PS2 one did, but as long as you leave, space for it to breathe, that's not an issue in the slightest. And the thing I love about the LevelHike cables is that they have a slider on the actual HDMI, cable itself that so you're able to switch from 4:3, which is the original aspect ratio, or 16:9, which is stretching it out. Most things that convert these, like if you're not going for an extremely expensive, solution, stretch the image out, and it looks horrible. And also, it's not really clear. What drew me to the LevelHike series of cables is that they give you this option. So obviously, I prefer to keep it on 4:3. I like the original aspect ratio. And on top of that, it just really smooths out the image. It just looks great on a 4K display. So I have a 49-inch 4K, Ultra HD, HDR capable TV, and obviously older consoles don't look great on them. That's why most people get a CRT. But, I don't want to have another TV in my room. I prefer to just have one. I don't have a huge room. And on top of that, CRTs aren't readily available. You have to go to Goodwill or Salvation Army or Flea Market or whatever the case may be to get one. And even if it works, it's still a huge TV, and I know a lot of people, myself included, don't want to have like 2 or 3 TVs in the room. So, I mean, if that's your solution, that's obviously the best way to go. But if you're like me and you want to get your old school systems on your modern TV, then stuff like this is the way to go. There are more expensive solutions, but like I said, for $30, this does exactly what I need, and that goes for all the LevelHike series of cables. So the cool thing also in the box that you get is this adapter, which you're obviously familiar with Sega Genesis. This looks like the port that goes in the back. So you would plug the end of the HDMI there, the Sega Genesis Model 2 and 3 part, plug it in here, and then you can plug this right here into your Sega Genesis Model 1, which is right here. I do have a Model 3. I love the Genesis. I have all 3 models. The third one's the tiniest one, the one that's from Tiger Electronics. Love that one. And that one works with this. But my personal favorite would be the Model 2, because it does still work with the Sega CD. The Model 3, unfortunately, doesn't work with the Sega CD. And I do actually own the Model 1 Sega CD, so... unfortunately, I wasn't able to test it out with this cable, but that's fine. I did with Sega Genesis. I'm going to be including footage of 5 different games, and you can find them all timestamped in the description below and in the pinned comment. I just gotta say this cable looks amazing, so I'll get into that in a little while. You also get an HDMI cable. What I love about them is that they supply you with everything you need right out the box. A lot of adapters or a lot of devices don't give you everything you need out the box. You may have to get your own HDMI cable, you may have to get your own USB port, etc. LevelHike, they give you everything out the box. They give you obviously the adapter. They give you this adapter to power the other, the Sega Genesis Model 1. Here's the HDMI cable, standard HDMI cable, and the USB to power. You actually have to plug a USB right there to be able to power this on, so you can plug this into your TV, you can plug this into your computer. If a console, like for example the PS2, you can plug it into it. Anything that powers a USB will power this on, and it'll give it some extra juice. There are some cases where you don't need the USB, but I find that it's, especially the Sega Genesis, that it's better to have the USB. And everything comes in these, Ziploc bags, which are great. And of course you get a thank you card. I really, really love these products so much, and I'm really grateful that that they reached out to me and wanted me to review this, because I love the products a ton, and I hope that they continue to make even more cables for retro consoles, because retro consoles is a huge thing still. I myself love to collect. Obviously, you can see here, I have more than this, but I have physical copies of Sega Genesis games complete in box. Castlevania Bloodlines being one of my favorite Genesis games. Streets of Rage 2, which is most likely my favorite Sega Genesis game. I just love Streets of Rage 2. Would love to get a box copy of Streets of Rage 1 and 3, but they're pretty expensive now. I actually have 2 copies of Streets of Rage 2, one loose and one completely in box, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, the cable looks great. It smooths out the picture. There's no lag. I haven't noticed any lag. It puts that at a 720p, 60 FPS if you're capable. Like if you're running, like for me, I run it through an Elgato HD 60, so it is able to capture 60 FPS. But it's always going to be a 720p, straight resolution. And the fact is, it's best that way because you have no issues of like changing signals. So I mentioned this in the PS2 one, and it's not really an issue for the Sega Genesis, but the benefit of that is that, especially for like the PlayStation cable, PlayStation 1 and 2 have a ton of different resolutions that constantly change on HD TVs, which is a huge issue to me, especially on a 4K TV. Some of the resolutions don't even work. With the LevelHike though, since it's all considered a 720p resolution, it always works. And that's the thing that, like I said, sold me on the LevelHike PS2. For the Sega Genesis though, that's not an issue, considering I think every game runs at the same resolution, which I forget the technical resolution aspects for the Sega Genesis games, but it runs into a 720p signal, and like I said, it will output 60 FPS if your capture card is capable. And yeah, it worked great for me. I really loved the cable a lot. I did, like I said, 5 different games. I got really into Castlevania Bloodlines. I just wanted to keep playing it. Such a phenomenal game. So, like I said, if you also want to play it with your Sega Master System, Sega Nomad, or your Sega CD, or 32X as well, you're able to do that. Sega Saturn is a completely separate cable by itself, which I highly advise people to go get. That's another one that I bought completely with my own money. I did not do a video for that. Maybe I'll do a video for that in the future. Phenomenal set of cables. Initially, I did have a defected cable, and that was not on the part of LevelHike. They immediately sent me another one, and it worked perfectly. Basically, so if you do have an issue where you plug it into one of your consoles and like the color on the screen is mainly blue or mainly yellow, not the original colors that it's supposed to be, reach out to Amazon or reach out to LevelHike themselves, and they'll supply you with another cable, and like I said, it worked right after that because I've never had any issues with the other LevelHike cables. I use the PS2 one weekly, and it's great. And yeah, like I said, I recommend this product a lot. So now I'm going to be showing gameplay of the 5 different games. Like I said, check the description in the below and the pinned comment for the timestamps of the games. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this review. Like I said, I give it a huge thumbs up. There are more expensive solutions that are probably even crisper, cleaner. You know, they give you that best quality image. But like I said, they're usually pretty expensive. And like I said, for $29.99, this is good enough for me on a 4K TV. It looks fantastic. It looks clean. It looks smooth. And it's simple, and that's good enough for me. So if it's okay for you, I highly recommend this cable if you just want to play on your 4K TV or 1080p TV and have a decent image. You know, like I said, if I plug this to an AV to HDMI, it looks horrendous on a 4K TV. But with the LevelHike, it looks absolutely stunning. And it's just amazing to me that these games are from 1992, 1993. You know, it's just crazy to think that it could still live on and look so so amazing on a modern display. But if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And I'll also leave a non-affiliate link in the description below so you can check it out. Like I said, this video is not being sponsored. I just want to get the word out there. And like I said, I was sent the cable for review. And of course, I wanted to fulfill that. And I am extremely satisfied. I would never accept any of these if I wasn't interested in actually getting the word out there, if I actually wasn't wanting to show how good a product is. And like I said, I vouch for these products. They're great. I hope to see more cables in the future from this company. And yeah, let's see what happens. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Stay tuned for the gameplay, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
You win. Round two, fight. You win. Perfect. Yeah. Round one, fight. You win. Round two, fight. You win.